Haha, you're dead, and I'm so happy. You are an a-hole, and now you're gone. That was to set 4, by the way. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xerath Prevails. Even as we speak, the final GAC matches are being conducted where set 4 can actually be used. Territory wars are over, which means set 4 is gone forever. All of those awful endless loops and dodge crons are being dusted, and we're exchanging them for set 6, which is a pretty good set, I think. There's a lot of interesting stuff that's going on with it. Set 4 was one of the most oppressive, ridiculous sets, and I think that if we continue to have versions of that, we would all have to collectively, I don't know, revolt or something. I hated set 4, honestly, and I think I probably defended it more than the majority of people. So there's that. I mean, there's going to be some small elements that I'll miss. Like Datacron was just real fun, in my opinion, but we can move on from the reminiscing and start talking about set 6 because there's so much going on here, folks. So keep in mind, I'm not the sole arbiter of truth. I have a lot of ideas about this, and there's going to be consistent tweaks to this. So I'm going to talk about a lot of different crons, and I don't know exactly where all these characters are going to go. Like HK47 has a really cool cron that is like kind of plug and play. I don't know where it's going to grow, where it's going to grow or go. There's a lot of things that we don't know of, especially why I use the word grow there. So one way or another, though, it's going to be interesting. I do have an infographic. Go to the video description. It's linked. My Discord server is linked in the video description, and if you go there, you can find the high density version of this. People were like, "Where?" I don't want to take a screenshot, and I'm like, "You've never had to. You can always go to my Discord server and get it, and keep it on your phone or wherever, and be the hero that your guild. You're like, oh yeah, well Xerath said to do this, and people are like, oh, that a-hole. Of course, he doesn't know what's going on. But my secret is I've never known what's going on. That's the real truth, folks. So one way or another, this infographic here. Let's zoom in just a little bit here. It's just covering the 3 basic factions that are covered in set 6, Inquisition, Droids, and Scoundrels. And things to keep in mind here, guys, just quick hitters, is first off, level 3s are dark side only. However, the Droids and Scoundrels factions have light side and dark side uses, and that means that if you're a Scoundrel, you can use the level 6 ability. Of course, you need Relic 5 and all that, but you can use the Relic 6 or level 6 ability. You can't use the level 3 ability with it, so unless you're dark side as well. So level 3 only goes dark side, then the other one, the level 6, just goes by faction. It doesn't matter. Like, so Hondo, for instance, he doesn't get the level 3 on the dark side, but because he's neutral. However, he is going to get the level 6, and then level 9 is obviously specialized. And so, like, Hondo actually gets his level 9, even though he's not dark side, but everyone else, all the other characters are dark side. So, and then Inquisition, there's no light side Inquisition yet, apparently. Surprise! But otherwise, I just kind of break down what's going on in this, for each squad. And for instance, like the Droideka squad, Droideka is going with Grievous, and this is what, in theory, you'd want for level 3, level 6, level 9. And I mean, that's basically it. Like Grand Inquisitor has a crazy Datacron, actually. It's like a leadership Datacron, which is really nice. But in 3v3, you get to split them up, and Ninth Sister actually has a crazy AoE fear Datacron that you're really going to want for 3s, because keep in mind, you're going to be using these crons for 3v3. Like, yes, you're going to, or no, whatever, you're not going to use this every single time in GAC. However, like the Inquisition, the Grand Inquisitor one you'll use for 3v3 and 5v5, and then you're still going to use half the time the Ninth Sister one. So if you can get the Ninth and the Grand Inquisitor one, going to be really good. Other things to keep in mind, folks, things that you might not think of. So first off, for Scoundrels, we have, like the Commander Luke team has a couple Scoundrels on the team, of course, in the form of Chewie and Han. And so you can do things like, you can get bonus turns and stuff. You guys can read. You're going to have to read some of these things. I'll give you a slight overview of all of these at some point in this video. But one way or another, like, you can kind of plug and play a lot of different things for this team. However, when they split up, you're going to be doing something weird, like maybe do IG-88 lead for Han and Chewie. And then IG-88 has a really cool plug and play set of abilities for 3s. And then the other part of it, though, is, sorry if you're making you dizzy here, is Commander Luke with 2PO and 3PO are actually going to want to use a droid one in 3s because of the passive damage that you can do with 2PO. And actually, I want to test it, but it's possible that you're just going to want this one on your 5v5 squad anyways because of all the target lock and then all the other debuffs that you're generating from the team. It's really, really nice to be able to generate that. So we're going to have to test it. Again, like a lot of these things just in theory are going to work really well. And but I don't have everything yet. So one thing I will point out is I always do a video talking about the different teams that are going to be used in 3v3, the different splits I'm going to use for 3v3 or 5v5, depending on when the season is. And that'll be released next week, you guys, so you guys can check that out. And I think my splits will be more figured out by then, and they will take into account Datacrons, or at least the ones that I'm planning on using. So just things to keep in mind. The other thing about this infographic is there's a lot of really good level 3s that I think are worth looking at. I think that the two that are the best, though, are the level 3 tank revive and the 20% turn meter one. And so I've listed things that this isn't a complete exhaustive list, but just some characters and teams that you might want to be looking at applying these to and kind of abusing those mechanics, because the tank revive thing is just nuts in some ways. Like you can really abuse it in like legal, good, fun ways. But the 20% turn meter is also really good, but only if you can find a right, if you want to feed their turn meter, if you want to jumpstart your team, here's some teams that actually the 20% turn meter are going to help quite a bit. And remember, the level 3s are only for dark side, and remember the Sith Eternal without Sith tanks works for the Sith tank revive, but if they're Sith, he does not allow revives with Sith, so it's kind of a wasted cron. One other thing I want to point out, guys, people are going to be asking, how do we counter Jabba? And the answer is going to be Jedi Master Kenobi with our resident scoundrel, Cat. Cat's going to have the no revive cron on her. She doesn't care what level 3 or level 6 or level 9 are, but she's going to be able to go in and just kill Chrysanthemum immediately. He won't be able to revive. And remember also, if you're doing Scoundrels against a team with the tank revive, you're going to be able to delete tanks that would normally jump up again. Like, oh, hey, I've got the cool cron that lets me do that. If you can have a no revive on your Scoundrels and take out a tank, then it just totally negates that part of their Datacron. So that being said, let's go into the game and just talk a little bit about some of these stats and some of these sets, and it'll be, whoa, we're in the game suddenly, madness. That was crazy. How'd we get in the game, man? Wow. Whoa. Let's talk about stats for just a moment here, guys, because the stats are actually just on their own really bonkers. So offense, instead of splitting it into physical and special offense like they've done in the past, they are just combining offense. So it's a plug and play thing that works for the entire team. It's like, well, which one do we want? Like, okay, Fennec is our main damage dealer. I guess we want special damage to be good on this team. In this case, though, you just get offense for everyone. Like the CLS team, I guess the CLS team is all physical, so that's a bad example. But like bounty hunters, or any team that has mixed damage, it's nice for it to apply to all. Of course, we're gonna have to look out for that because a lot of people are going to be doing a lot of more damage than usual. I think the cap is at 70% total if you roll offense every time and roll a perfect roll. So it's not too bonkers, but I mean 70% offense. I mean, that really is pretty crazy. The defense one, keep in mind this isn't armor or resistance. They're again tying all of these stats into the same thing, and so armor and resistance are both on the defense percent. And like we're gonna have some very tanky squads, and I think that's going to be a team, or that's going to be a stat that's just almost in almost every way better than the crit avoid is. The crit avoid is just like, well, okay, that's nice, but sometimes sometimes you don't care if you're crit so much as if you can just mitigate the damage. And so yeah, it'd be nice to roll. Like you can get 100% crit avoid, but it's probably not worth trying to get because people still do a ton of damage. Fennec's like, yeah, I don't even crit, I'm just gonna kick you right in the nuts. Same with Dark Trooper. And Dark Trooper, I guess another implication here, guys, is with the 20% cron on dark side, Lord Vader is just going to stop being on defense against anyone who has a level 3 Datacron that lets your troopers go in and just take people out. Like it's going to be pretty bonkers. You don't even need a droid version of the cron, though that's kind of nice. You just need the 20% turn meter level 3. Like it's not even uncommon. It's just easy to get, and you're going to be able to delete Lord Vader teams left and right. Like there's a couple comps that might be able to defend against those troopers, but trust me guys, Lord Vader you're not going to want on defense if your opponent has pretty decent troopers. It's pretty gross. So crit damage, I think the offense is a stronger stat, but crit damage you can just get a crazy amount of crit damage. I mean, you can get up to what, 175 or 170. Oh gosh, 220% extra crit damage. I mean, that's also pretty good. Offense and crit damage, man. I think offense is going to be more widely applicable, and then health and protection, just really nice stats. We don't have tenacity or potency, which is a little bit sad. Now, level 3, I already went over it, guys. The weakest ally gains 20% turn meter for every dark side ally, so you can get 100% turn meter. The ones that you really want to be looking for that are like the Maul Mandalorian team, because remember I said that Lord Vader doesn't necessarily, he's not going to go on defense that often. So if he's on defense, then or if he's on offense, then you can probably sometimes use him for one objective and then send your Maul team with Mandalorians on another one, and you can get your turn meter train going immediately with Maul. So pretty nice stuff. The other one that's really nice is when a tank ally is defeated, revive them with 100% health, reset their cooldowns, and they gain a bonus turn. So I like this one. I keep looking at, man, I wonder if we could use this to beat Imperial troopers. And if you put Lord Vader down and the Imperial troopers take a long time, kill your tank, you can get a bonus turn which interrupts their stacking and all of that, and maybe, just maybe, you can block them. I don't know. You probably need pretty high relics though, frankly. I'm not sure if that's going to work. The other ones are actually not bad either. I would just say that in general, the 20% turn meter one is good, and the tank one is good, and these other ones are, it's like, okay, they're fine. We're going to be doing a lot of re-rolling here, guys, and sometimes you just don't, you're like, well, I don't have a tank that is worth reviving on the team, or they're only light side tanks, and, like, save your rerolls. Those rerolls are going to be vital. If you don't need to start a turn meter train, maybe you don't need to go first with this. Maybe it's a mixed squad and you're not going to get first turn anyways. So, like, these are really good, but don't sidetrack yourself too much. Do be aiming to get several of the 20% turn meter and several of the dark side tank revives. Remember, that's going to work with General Grievous really nice too, when if you take Droidica, everyone will be stealthed except for Magnagard. CLS will go, they'll nuke Magnagard, he'll instantly revive, but Grievous will get his bonus turn immediately, and you'll get, you know, all the target lock stuff, and B1 is going to start doing all of his target lock madness. It's pretty cool stuff. Now, those are probably the two things that I'm most excited about for level 3. Level 6, lots of things. So, Scoundrel, Inquisitorius, and Droids all have the same set of abilities and stuff. They're all decent, actually. You guys can look at the infographic. I kind of choose a few of them here and there, but each of them has one unique ability that's different for all of them, and then one that I think should be considered for all of them. So Scoundrel allies, enemy can't be revived. Really, really nice ability there. Same with the 100%, or same... I mean, that can be situationally nice, I should say. Now, the other part of it is, for Scoundrels, their unique ability that's unique to Scoundrels only, like Droids don't get this and Inquisitorius don't, it resets their cooldowns every time, the first time each of them takes a basic attack. They gain 100% turn meter. That's not a bonus turn, remember, it's turn meter, so it interacts with the game a little bit differently, but... it only happens once, but this is crazy because, like, Han and Chewie, it's just like, Han is going to go at first, he shoots first, and then he's going to get a second turn immediately after, and Chewie's going to assist again immediately after, and, I mean, that's really strong, frankly. Inquisitorius one is crazy as well. So the can't be revived might be really nice against like Chrysanthemum if you're trying to take out Jabba, which I think Inquisitors are going to be able to do again this season. But if you kill Chrysanthemum and he can't be revived, like that cuts back a lot of your timeout potential. So might be worth looking at that. Otherwise, this one is crazy, 100% potency, and at the start of each Inquisitorius character's turn, dispel all buffs and inflicts health down on all enemies that are inflicted with Purge, which you get on them pretty easily. So you're always dispelling their buffs and putting health down on them, and you're gaining 100% potency, which is vital for the success of Inquisitors. And then, finally, Droids. This one is nuts with B1 or Chupio. Whenever a droid damages an enemy with a basic ability, inflict target lock for 2 turns, which is awesome for those two. If the enemy was already target locked, inflict breach and buff immunity for 2 turns, which is awesome. Breach is minus 25%, speed and defense, which is really good. So you can get target lock and all these debuffs. They can't be resisted. Just really strong stuff. And so, finally, guys, for character level 9s, just real briefly, Dr. Aphra, if you have her, this is the one that you're going to want, for sure. She's going to get, it's Dash-esque in her ability. You just give her a bunch of droids and go to town. IG-88 actually has a bunch of cool stuff. He can actually passively, if you can get him to assist, he can passively gain damage immunity. And it's just pretty consistently, whenever he crits someone, then he gets it. So that was pretty good. Mob Enforcer, I don't know, I've written her off, and she's not actually on the infographic, but the more and more I look at this, I'm just like, man, whenever she uses a special ability, she inflicts fear for a turn. Like, that's kind of plug and play. That's kind of nice. You could put her on whatever team and just put, do fear on them. That could be good. IG-86, probably ignore. Droidica, we'll have to see. It's kind of just it's a lot of conditional weird stuff, but like the exposes and everything, and the armor shred, it could be pretty good. Eighth Brother, ignore. I mean, it looks cool and all, but Grand Inquisitors, man, it's like a leadership one. You're gonna have to read it yourself, but he's already immune to ability block. Now everyone on his team is also immune to fear and stun. And then whenever someone dies, the entire team gains 50% turn meter and damage immunity. It's just crazy. Canderous is going to be really nice, like all the exposes with a Maul team. The Probe Droid one, I really want to see. So if you can manage to keep him alive until like everyone else on your team is dead, he revives all other defeated allies. It's not just droids, it's all allies. They gain a ton of stats. It's pretty bonkers. Ninth Sister, whenever you do damage to him using a special ability, inflict fear. So if she has her AoE, she inflicts AoE fear. Pretty crazy. Hondo is going to be fun. The additional 9 stacks is it's going to be fun. It just is. Let's see, Seventh Sister. This one looks really good. It would be amazing if you just can't roll level or Ninth Sister, but you can roll Seventh. This will probably do okay. And finally, HK47. He's plug and play. If you can get him the weakest, he can go first, make him kind of fast, so that he can outspeed other people who have the same cron. But if you get him, make him the weakest, give him the 20% cron, that gives him 100% turn meter. He's going to start and be able to do an AoE that inflicts fear on the entire team. Remember, you have to do damage, so if they have a bunch of foresight or something, it's not going to stick. But anyways, folks, what are things you want to do with this set? Lots and lots and lots of implications. We'll be managing them this whole season, so thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Xerath prevails.